Hey, so it's been 1 year since we played the Bell Centre, opening up for Bon Jovi. Really feels pretty crazy that it's actually been a whole year. Kind of still feels like yesterday. I definitely hit a lot of highlights from that show. A lot of things that were really, really cool and I'll never forget. I would say meeting Bon Jovi, John Bon Jovi, meeting him was the coolest thing ever. I literally didn't even know he was like in the room and he just sort of popped up. It was hard for me to talk. I was like, wow, I'm in the presence of an iconic rock star, and I thought it was really, really cool and really exciting, and I'll definitely never forget that. He was super nice. Everybody was super welcoming. His whole team, so welcoming, and that was a great experience because I know that since we're young, sometimes the big leagues can look at us a little like we don't know what we're doing, but they treated us like equals, like professional musicians, and that was a really cool feeling. Definitely I was nervous that day, but really only 15 minutes before going to perform. The whole day itself, I was like just excited. I wasn't even freaking out. Like, we went to dinner, we had the catering that they offered, which was so good, and I just ate, no problem, wasn't nervous. And then like when they were escorting us to the stage, I was like, oh crap. Now I'm a little nervous. I really calmed down once I was on the stage. It's just like any other gig except at the Bell Centre, and I just gave it my all, and it was really fun.
Well, it's been a year since we opened for Bon Jovi at the Bell Centre, and all I can say is there's not a single moment that I don't wish I could relive. Every hour of that day had something amazing about it. We started off the day together in the car on our way down to the Bell Centre, and, most times when you're driving to the Bell Centre, it's because you bought tickets to go see something. But we were driving down knowing we were going to be performing that night, and that was just an unreal feeling. I don't think I got any sleep the night before. One of the really special things about that day for me was that the guitarist in Bon Jovi, Phil X, before he joined Bon Jovi, he had been doing these videos on YouTube that I had been watching since I was like 11 or 12, and I always found he was like the coolest guy. So when I found out that there was a chance that we could meet him, I didn't want to get my hopes up, but during our sound check, I looked up from my keyboard and I saw him in the audience just watching our sound check, and he looked into it. He was like nodding his head, and that was one of the coolest moments ever. Your hero is like listening to your music and finding it awesome. And I was so sure that when I was gonna meet him, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna lose my cool. I'm gonna just talk to him. He's Phil X. He's a chill guy. And we walk off stage at the end of our sound check, and I see him standing there, and he's all, hey, what's up, man? I'm Phil. And he puts out his hand. And in my head, I would have loved to have been like, oh, hey, man, I've been watching your videos for so long, Phil, blah, 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 blah. All I managed to get out was, hi. He was a really cool guy. The real special moment of the night was the beginning and the end of our set. We were right backstage, and we could see the bright light looking up, and the moment that it was time for us to start, the light just went out, and we heard the huge crowd chanting and screaming, and we just ran up. That first chord that we strummed, it felt like a movie. It doesn't even feel like a memory when I think back to it. It feels like I'm remembering a dream I had last night. And I just remember being terrified all throughout the set that I would mess up on anything. I wanted it to be perfect. And that moment of strumming the last chord when we finished our set, it was just like, it was a moment of satisfaction, but it was also like, oh my God, it's all over. And it was just something I'll never forget.
So it's officially a full year since we opened for Bon Jovi at the Bell Centre. I can't believe that it's gone that quick. Just reminiscing on that day is just unbelievable. It still just gives me chills watching the videos. It's unlike anything. I can't even describe it. The full day was out of this world. We arrived there, we unloaded the truck with Bon Jovi's incredible crew, very nice people helping us out. Brian, the stage manager, was there the whole day trying to make us feel better. Not that we were feeling bad, but we were nervous, so he calmed everything down. Just what a nice man. This past fall, I remember I received a Facebook reminder with a post that I made in 2013. I was thrilled. I was going to see my second Bon Jovi concert after winning tickets for it on air. And I remember looking at the comments and seeing, "What, you're not performing with them?" And I wrote back, "Maybe someday." And that someday came. That someday came 5 years later, and what are the odds, honestly? I remember sitting in catering, trying to nibble on a small piece of steak and some vegetables, nervous out of my mind, but having a hard time eating, and just hearing in the background Bon Jovi's doing their sound check, and we hear all these songs just ringing out through the walls. Just to think that shortly after that, that was the sound of us ringing through those walls, the same walls that anybody who's anybody has performed at the Bell Centre, and their music has rung through those walls, and ours did as well. I'm forever grateful for those who helped get us there. If it weren't for all of that help, this would not have happened. 1 year, what a time.
1 year since we opened up for Bon Jovi, and I still can't believe it's been a year. Best experience. I wish we can go back in time and do it again. Just meeting John and meeting Phil X was amazing. Getting on stage, doing sound check, was realizing like in about 4 hours we're gonna play in front of 10,000 people, 14,000, whatever, you name it. Going in the dressing room, doing a bit of some interviews. Everything felt so wow, we had minutes before going on stage, and I was feeling really sick because I realized like this is happening, this is true, this is real, and I'm like, oh God, here we go. And we did it, and I felt better. Like I actually, the pressure disappeared, and I was just focusing on the show. Like I wasn't really. It was a great experience. I can't believe it's 1 year, and yeah.
Wow. It's amazing that the Bon Jovi thing happened a year ago now. And, it doesn't feel that long ago that we were just getting the email and living off the high of, wow, we're going to be playing at the Bell Centre. Thinking back, some of the highlights from the event for me were definitely, one was talking to John. John was a super, super cool guy. I got to tell him this really interesting story. When I was around 12 years old, my family, we entered this contest where you submitted like your own music video for Living on a Prayer. And our video won, so we were able to get shown on the big screen at a Bon Jovi concert. And then fast forward to 2018, I'm talking to him as part of the opening band for his concert in Montreal. Just the tension that I was feeling and the nerves I was feeling right before we were about to go on stage. I remember pacing back and forth in the dressing room. I felt like the time couldn't move any slower. Finally, when someone came to get us to bring us to the backstage area, I was like, oh crap, this is it. And then I get backstage and I'm freaking out. I'm super, super nervous that they just went up even higher from when they were in the dressing room. But then as soon as I got on stage, I had this feeling, okay, I'm just gonna have the best time. I'm gonna leave it all out there on stage. Hearing the crowd cheer was like a huge motivation. And just that whole experience from being extremely nervous and then getting to the stage and be like, all right, embrace the moment. That was one of the best moments for me, for that whole Bon Jovi experience.